against Adriana. Was it Karela?
Karela
should be goal of the season. It's been good. It's been good. My only disappointment is the fact that title sponsors had to pull away.
Yeah.
A couple of officiating hasn't really been good. But Mutala, this is our league. This is what we can promote. We can't sit here and talk about other leagues. This is the only league we have. But I'm hoping that the season will end well with the integrity of the league still at stake. A lot of people talk about how games of convenience are being played at the later stage of the season, but so far it's been quite good, and I've been impressed with a lot of things. And for me, I think that Asante, should they win the league, they really deserve it.
Well, let's quickly go through the results that have come so far for Matchday 32. We are just a few games away from ending, but these are the games that have been played so far. Heart of Folk there beat Nations FC by 2-0. We will be talking briefly about that one. Then we had Bichim United also getting a 1-0 scoreline against Adriana. Legon Cities also beating Bofakwa and piling pressure on Bofakwa Tano, who are looking at surviving in the Ghana Premier League. Asante Kotoko will take on Great Olympics, and that is the game we'll be showing you in a few minutes time. Brekum Chelsea would also take on Real Tamale United. Dreams FC have a game against Karela United, with Mediama also coming face to face against Heart of Lions. And Swaterman will be taking on Accra Lions, and that is an interesting one to watch. Then we have Samatex also coming up against BBN Gold Stars. I can see these BBN Gold Stars, and a win for Samatex today could do them a lot of good as far as clinching the title is concerned. They are on top of the pile with 55 points. Adriana lost yesterday, but are second with 49 points. Mediama are third with 49 points. Nations FC find themselves fourth on the table with 48 points. And the club 47 has Bichim United and Accra Lions sitting fifth and sit on the table with Swaterman 7th on 45 points. Brekum Chelsea have 44 points and are 8th. The Legon Cities, they have usurped Asante Kotoko to 9th and have 44 points as well. That is the top half of the table. Let's look at the second half of the table, where we have Kumasi, Asante Kotoko sitting 10th, and that could change today if should they get a win against Great Olympics, but they have 43 points, and BBN Gold Stars also have 43 points and are 11th. Heart of Folk, after yesterday's win, have climbed to 12th on the table with 41 points. They're pulling away from the relegation zone, but they are completely not out of the woods. Karela are 13th at the moment with 40 points, and Heart of Lions, they occupy the 14th position with 38 points. Dreams FC, they lie precariously above the relegation zone, even though they have 2 games in hand. They are 15th with 38 points. The last 3 teams on the Ghana Premier League table are Great Olympics, who are 16th with 36 points. But for Akwatano, they lost yesterday and are stuck on 17th with 33 points. Real Tamale United, they are 18th with 31 points, despite having 2 games in hand. Now they do Great Olympics. Okay, let's first talk about Akwatano. That defeat yesterday could go against them at the end of the season, because they needed a win at all costs against Legon Cities, but then they slammed to a 1-0 defeat.
So it means, if a team like Dreams FC and Heart of Lions gets a good result today, it confirms Bofakwa to Division 1, because they will need more than 6 points to get close to the mark that will make them survive in the Ghana Premier League. So if Dreams FC and House of Lions get a good result today, automatically means Bofo is going to Division 1. But it looks like about 70 to 75% RTU and Bofakwa Tano will be relegated. What is difficult now for us on the league log is the third team that will join the 2 teams to Division 1. That is where we find ourselves in a difficult situation. That is where teams from 41 points to 36 points, any of them could join. But what I'm seeing after week 31, week 32, when we are having at least 43 points, you need at least 1, 2, or 3 points to survive. So it means when you pass the 44 mark, you are likely to survive in the Ghana Premier League.
Okay.
That is where, personally, I think the team who is likely to join Bofakwa Tano and, of course, RTU is between Kwandu Heart of Lions and Great Olympics. Heart of Lions, I can give them about 65% chance of surviving. Great Olympics, I will give them about 45% chance of surviving. So that third team to join Bofo and of course RTU, personally, I think it's between Heart of Lions and of course Olympics, especially when Olympics is playing Asante Kotoko today and Pando House of Lions is traveling to Accra to play Mediema.
Now, Felix, Bofubeba, after 16 years, they qualified back into the Premier League, but it looks like they are going down again.
Yeah, I think that a lot of their supporters will be disappointed.
What do you think went wrong for them?
I think they were suspended after that incident between Isuatrema, where supporters had to attack Maxwell Kunedu in the inner perimeter of the game, and they got some games suspended. So they weren't playing at the Coronation Park, and that in itself took away the momentum that they had, and it could affect you, and that is what they suffered from. For RTU, I think that the reason why they won't survive is the fact that financially they're struggling. Players are not being paid
but
well.
They visited the former president recently,
but I think
they were giving some. But you think it's too late?
I think
the 500,000 the former president gave them. I think it was late.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's too late for them.
Damage has already been done.
And the fact that they also had to move from Tamale to Brecom to play their games at the Golden City Park, because Tamale will always be a fortress for any team.
At the point they were playing in Nalegu.
Now they are back in Nalegu, so that is the reason. For Pando Heart of Lions, they are also finding themselves in a difficult situation, and it looks similar to what Kotoko Royals suffered from last season, where you qualified from a particular region and a particular stadium, and then you are not playing from there. So you look at Pando Heart of Lions, when they qualified into the Ghana Premier League, they had to move from Nopando, where they are based. They had to adopt the Sogakope Stadium, play some games there. They had to go back to Hohoi and play some of the games there. And sometimes stuff like this would always play a part in you not surviving the Ghana Premier League. Now that they are back in Pando, they've started winning some games and all that, because at the point, I think after 9 games in the Ghana Premier League, they hadn't even suffered a defeat. So they could have built on that.
That is where they end the title draw masters.
Yes.
They were drawing their games.
So if they were playing in Pando, they could have built on that and survive. But they still have a chance. For Great Olympics, I think that Olympics themselves, and even Hearts of Folk, they suffered from the same, not having the consistent venue to play in, because Hearts of Folk themselves have played games in Sokago. At the point they have to even adopt the Barbara Sports Stadium to play their games. So when you don't have a permanent venue to play your games, it affects you. Okay. But I also totally agree with my brother here. See, in the Ghana Premier League, if you look at last season you need 42 points to survive. The season before was 41. The season before that was 41. So it tells you that if you need to beat the drop, you need 41, 42 points. But you look at how tight the Premier League log looks now, probably you need about 43 points to survive. You look at Accra Great Olympics, they play Kumasi Asante Kotoko in a game that I'm not expecting them to win, because if you look at the form guide, Kotoko looks better in terms of the current form, and Great Olympics are struggling. They are not good travelers as well. So that is a game that I'm not really expecting them to win. But hey, anything can happen. But Mutala, if you get a 43 points, I think that you're sure to survive in the Ghana Premier League season. So
these are the last 5 games that Asante Kotoko have played in the Ghana Premier League, and one of those games ended in a win against Hearts of Folk. But they beat Samatex by a goal to nil before drawing. That Samatex game was after they had met Opemso, the overlord, the life patron of Asante Kotoko, 2-4 to the second end. There was a change in fortune as far as results are concerned. They won against Samatex, then they drew 1-1 against Mediema before they beat Legon Cities by 2-0. Then they faltered on the way as a Brekum Chelsea beat them by 2-1. That later a winner from Mesak Free condemning Asante Kotoko to a defeat. But their last game was against Heart of Folk at the Barbara Sports Stadium, and Stevie Desi Bukwala scored twice for the Porcupines to win. So Nadedo Kotoko coming into this game are coming with a lot of confidence, because results have been good for them.
When I saw the first 11 and I realized Stephen Mukwala is still yet to join the Uganda national team camp, I realized Kotoko really mean business. And the player himself is eager to win the Goalkeeper in the Ghana Premier League. you know some of these players, when their national team comes calling, and you have 4-5 days to prepare for a crucial game in a World Cup qualifier, they don't mind sacrificing a game like this and move to their country. But I'm looking at what is at stake. The contract due at the end of the season. There's one goal separating him and the top scorer, Stephen Amankuna. And he knows a home game like this, he can score a goal, a 2, or even 3 in a game like this. So the player is eager to win the goal king. That is one. Number 2, Asante Kotoko, because they really need this particular 3 points, for them to be safe as NBA, because when they win today's game, they move to 46. And per what we've done this particular season, 46 automatically you'll be playing in Ghana Premier League next season. And Kotoko's last home game is against Bofakatano, who's struggling to survive. Their next game is Nailugu against RTU. So when they get this maximum 3 points today, they are not thinking about what will happen in the last 2 games in the Ghana Premier League. That is why this morning, first flight from Kotoko to Kumasi, Freddie Kasari was in to join his teammates to be the number 1 goalkeeper for today's game and return back tomorrow morning to train with the Blasters.
Is Danlad injured?
Danlad is injured. That is the report we are hearing.
He's injured?
No, I've not heard anything about that.
Okay.
But
all right,
the most important thing is Freddie Kasari has joined Asante Kotoko.
And I'm sure Prosper Nati, the coach of Asante Kotoko, might feed us in as to what is happening with Danlad. That is, as to what is happening with Danlad for Kotoko to recall Freddie Kasari to come and play this game today, because he has been called into the Black Star. So I'm sure we'll get an explanation behind that from Prosper Nati Ogum. But the game is building up well. Asante Kotoko's last 5 home matches has seen them won 3 and lost 2. They lost 1-0 to Nations FC, and in Swaterman beat them by 2-1. But then the last 3 home games have all resulted in a win for them. They beat Samatex by a goal to 0 before getting a 2-0 victory over Legon Cities. And the last home game at the Barbaira Sports Stadium was against Heart of Oak. They won 2-0. But today it is at the Dr. Kwame Che Sports Complex. For Great Olympics, their last 5 matches in the Ghana Premier League have seen them won just once, lost 3 times, and drawn 1. They drew 1-1 with Swaterman before they lost to Great Olympics. They lost to Samatex, they lost to Mediama, and lost to Legon Cities. But they won against Brekum Chelsea by 3-2. Felix, the game being played at the Dr. Kwame Che Sports Complex, do you think it will have a toll on both sides?
I think that for Great Olympics, they will be happy that they are not playing at the Barbara Sports Stadium. See, even though the game is in Kumasi, you know very well that from the Garden City to Dr. Che, it's quite a distance. You won't have the full support of Kumasi Asante Kotoko supporters going to, Abrankesi to watch that particular game. So Great Olympics will feel that, well, this is more like a game against an opponent who is playing at a neutral ground, and that could have, a telling effect on how they perform. But I think that for Kotoko, they want to still build the momentum. Dr. Prosperity Ogun wants to keep that winning trend going for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I'm sure their target now, the fact that they won't be able to win the league doesn't mean that they can't target the top 4. If you look at mathematically, they still have a chance of making it into the top 4, and I think that it is something that he would want to get Kotoko into. For Great Olympics, this is a huge game for them. If they really want to survive, they need to pick up the maximum points, especially when they are coming up against their city rivals, Accra to Folk, a match with 33. They want to make sure that they pick up the points in this game, because the game against Hearts of Oak would be a game that could determine their fate in the Ghana Premier League. So getting a win against Kumasi Asante Kotoko before they play Hearts, who suffered a defeat against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, it would be a good omen for them should they get the points today.
I think the permutation is simple. If Olympics is losing today at Dr. Kwame Che Sports Complex, then House of Lions shouldn't win their game against Mediama in Takwa.
Okay.
If House of Lions pick a win in Takwa, and Olympics lose today to Asante Kotoko, personally, I think Olympics' chance of surviving the Ghana Premier League will be less than 25%.
Okay. Now, Olympics would have had solace from the fact that the game is not being played at the Barbaira Sports Stadium, but despite that, they have not been good on the road this season. Their last 5 away matches has seen them lost 4 and drawn 1. The only draw they got was against Swaterman, because they lost to Accra Lions, lost to Nations FC, lost to Samatex, and lost to Legon City. So on the road, they have not been that good. But you look at this great Olympic squad, and I am one of the few people who is very surprised to find Great Olympics battling relegation, because at the start of the season, I did not envisage that. The likes of Entry, the likes of Emmanuel Nete, the likes of Kasim, the likes of Awako, the squad is rich with quality. So why are Great Olympics struggling?
Mutala, before the AFCON, you interviewed the communication manager for Olympics on Sports Park. He told you something. He said at least 8 of the Olympics players should have been in the Black Star squad going to the AFCON in Ivory Coast. He told you on Sports Park. So he believes the Olympics players they find themselves in now are national team players. He mentioned names: Oko Grickman, Benjamin Asare, Samuel Ashikwe, Christopher Neti, Glassen Awaku, Razak Kasim. These are typical national team experience. And in the last 3 years, all these players have mentioned their name. Open your national team experience. All these players. Open your call up into a national team. So it tells you these are national team stars. But I think the game that they lost to Mediama at Accra Sports Stadium opens the situation they find themselves up in the Ghana Premier League. So Olympics, they need to find a way to get a good results against Kotoko.
Okay, so the head-to-head of the two sides going into this game has seen in the last 5 games that they've played, Kotoko beat Great Olympics in 2022 by 2-0. Then they went and beat them 1-0 in the reverse fixture before drawing 1-1 with them. Then Olympics had a 2-0 victory over Kotoko, and the last game between the pair ended goalless. So in the last 3 games that both sides have played, Asante Kotoko have not been able to get 3 points against Great Olympics. You're still watching Star Times at the patch channel 247, and we are building up to that game at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. It is a game between Kotoko and Great Olympics. I'm sure with this one, Oligbogbo, Olimashi, the fans of Great Olympics know that 3 points are precious than gold today, and they would go all out to try and beat Asante Kotoko. But Kotoko are in some superb form. We take a quick break. When we return, we see the lineup of the two sides.
Oh. Start time say, a new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy den eche wudanka.
Oh, prepaid NASA.
A new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy den eche electricity bills.
Done well to keep that in.
Dad, school fees.
A new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy kwa den eche school fees. Start times dear. Yet ya pa. Ye never pay TV ya. Ye won't ja from MOBA to me share ni so ade. Into OBA to me hwebi. Ubetime ja nkwa da nyina dia ma Start Time TV. Esan say, enye mebema nkwa da ni achi. Na wasuo de nyina wa Start Times. Ai, Start Times. Ebe more premium entertainment.
So mputumi ntia rent na obetena me fie.
Oh. Start Time say, a new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy den eche wudanka.
Oh, prepaid NASA.
A new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy den eche electricity bills.
Done well to keep that in.
Dad, school fees.
A new concert sika wutia TV no. Ne boy kwa den eche school fees. Start Time.
Welcome back from that break. You're still watching Star Times at the channel 247, and it is our continuing coverage of the Ghana Premier League. Today we will be at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex in Abrankes in the Ashanti region, because it is the Porcupine Warriors, Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko, who are facing one of the oldest clubs in Ghana, Great Olympics. This promises to be a blockbuster because Great Olympics are in dire need of 3 points. Matchday 32 has served us with some interesting results so far. Heart of Folk beating Nations FC by 2-0, and Bechem United getting a 1-0 victory over Adriana. Legon Cities also recorded that same scoreline against Bofuakwa. Today, Kotoko Olympics is what we'll be showing you live on your screens, but there's Brekum Chelsea against Royal Tamale United. Dreams are the Theatre of Dreams in Daewoo would also face Karela United, with Mediema taking on Heart of Lions. And Swataman will face Accra Lions, and league leaders Samatex will come up against Bebieni Gold Stars. Now, the lineup of the two teams are in, and some interesting changes have been made to the lineup of a Great Olympics, especially. Now, for Asante Kotoko, it is Frederick Asari who is imposed for them, and he is the captain as well. He's gained a call-up to the Black Stars. Justice Blaze is starting. Serge Eric Zeze, Sivi Desi Mukwala, Enoch Morrison, Ishak Fusaini, Yusuf Mohammed Nuruddin, Baba Yaya, Andrew Sintim Menu, Nicholas Osebonso, and of course, Peter Aqua Amido. For Great Olympics, it is Benjamin Asari who is imposed for them. Razak Kasim is captain in the side. Matthew Abayase, Isaac Mensa, Samuel Ashikwe is in the Raymond Oko Gripman, Ebenezer Setre, Matthew Agama, Kekeli Ato, Albert Amwa, and of course, Glassen Awako. So that is the dressing room of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. There you see the jerseys neatly arranged there. The Hope brand, that is what Asante Kotoko where these days. Moses Poite has a place on the bench for Prosper Nate Ogum's side. Serge Eric Zeze is starting today's game, and it promises to be an interesting one. With the recall of Frederick Asari from the Black Stars camp to be the number one in this game, it shows you that Asante Kotoko are not taking this one lightly, Felix.
Of course, just as I said earlier on, I'm sure that Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum want to build on the win that they had against Hearts of Folk. And let's be very honest, if you look at the last two games between these two sides, especially away for Great Olympics, Kotoko are yet to defeat them. So it tells you that they want to take this game very, very, serious. And I think that is the reason why, for a player like Frederick Asari, who I've had the only local-based player in the national team, I'm sure every coach will tell you, go and have your time with the national team, because hardly do we see local-based players get those call-ups. So for him to call him back tells you how important not just the game but the goalkeeper is to the team. And for me, I think that is also a good thing. The player will feel that, I am equally very important to this team. So let me go in there and prove to the coach that I deserve to start in this game. So Kotoko, I see a lot of confidence in their team, but don't tell her this is a game that Olympics find themselves in, a game that they must win to survive. And I'm sure that maybe what they will see, if we can get a 3 points, at least let's get a point in this game. Let's get a point in this game, and that is what they will be going to this game with, that mentality. But see, you look at the players, Ambaya says Setre, Ose Gripman, Kasim Nu, and even for their coach Jimmy Cobbler, this is a coach who has a lot of experience, and it's a bit sad that Great Olympics find themselves struggling to survive. Last season they did quite so, the season before same. So for them to find themselves in this situation with the quality of players that they have, we shouldn't also forget that we've had equally good teams in the Ghana Premier League. So now, even for Hearts of Folk, who are still not safe, tells you that we are getting quality teams in the Ghana Premier League. Okay, so that is how Great Olympics also made their way to the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex, all the way from Accra to the Garden City. It's a game that Great Olympics will not take lightly. They would have to play a game of their lives because they are on some form of oxygen and need to survive. And survival starts with this game against the Porcupine Warriors. It is a big one. Even the bus driver of Great Olympics looks very confident that they would get the result, but they are coming up against a force in Asante Kotoko. And I'm sure, despite the fact that Kotoko are moving away from the Barbara Sports Stadium, they would still have loads of their fans
travel. Then former Black Stars goalkeepers trainer and former Black Stars goalkeeper number 1, that is Richard Kingston, is part of the technical team of Great Olympics. I'm picking information that Orlando Wellington will be stemming their affairs for Great Olympics this afternoon. But on the bench for Asante Kotoko, there's Sharif Mohammed, Bernard Sapon Somwa, Michael Che Dramina, Shadrach Ado, sorry, Kalu Watara, Moise Porte, Samuel Asamoah, Prince Adesa, and Richmond Opoko. And for Great Olympics, it is Seydou Ismaila, Abednego Safu, Michael Losey, Emmanuel Entry, Festus Nyako, Benjamin Shivano, and of course Saudu Sule Mana. Kumasi Asante Kotoko wants to continue their good run of form, and it doesn't come any better than playing against a team that also needs the 3 point dearly. This sets the game up for a blockbuster.
Yes, Mutala, you know how Prosper Oguma has taken this game very serious. You know, Bernard Somwa was in the under-20 camp in Pram. He joined the team on Friday to prepare for this particular game. So it tells you he's calling almost all the key players who were on national duties. Freddie Kasare is back. Bernard Somwa is back. Stephen Mukwala is here to travel to the Uganda camp. Remember, Heart of Oak, their key midfielder, you know, Glade Otanga, has been called to the Congo national team since Thursday. That is, he moved to Congo to join his national team. So it tells you some of these players, when they need something from a crucial game like this, they don't joke with it. So for them to get all these players ahead of the Olympics game, it means Prosper Ogum want to do everything possible to get the maximum 3 points. And the stats shows since they had that meeting with Opimswo, they've gotten 10 points out of the possible 15. They lost to Bilkum Chelsea and it drew 1-1
with Mediema.
With Mediema. The rest has been wins for Asante Kotoko. So it means the meeting has done a lot for this team, and I'm sure they would like to continue with a team like Great Olympics. I know there's special respect and good relationship between Olympics and Asante Kotoko, but both teams need the maximum 3 points to move forward.
Well, I don't know about that relationship, and I don't know about any respect that Asante Kotoko share with Great Olympics. All I know that we are going to have a blockbuster game today at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. But before every game, as we do, we have to get the views of the coaches concerning the game. So let's go to Abrankese and have a listen to the two managers, starting with the head coach of Asante Kotoko, Prosper Nati Ogu.
A little bit of your time. Now, the first round, we noticed that after Kotoko beat Hearts at home, they started in the game against Accra Great Olympics. It looks like the status quo is likely to remain unless there's a change. What will change this time around?
I think what will change is based on the fact that both teams are not properly positioned. If you look at where Olympics is and if you look at where we are, both teams are not safe. So we have to go all out in terms of determination, in terms of confidence, in terms of aggression, in terms of our team structure, how we defend and then how we attack. And then most importantly, the few chances that will come our way, we have to make sure that we make good use of those chances that will come our way.
But what you are saying, my understanding is that then we're going to see Kotoko parade a full house today. But I noticed that there's a change in your lineup. One of your regular fullbacks, Kote, is not here today.
Yeah, he's out because of accumulated cards, 3 yellow cards, which automatically per the rules of engagement rules him out of the game. So that's why he's not there. But then I think Isaku is competent. I've spoken with him, especially yesterday. I had a one-on-one with him, and I made him aware that he's capable of doing it. So he should just stay calm and make sure that per his position and the principles within the structure in relation to his position, he should just remember them and apply them.
Well, obviously your fans will be delighted to hear this from you by virtue of the fact that Kote had played above himself and the fans had fallen in love with him. One other player, the players had also fallen in love, madly in love with, is your assistant goalkeeper, who is also not on duty today. Dan Ladd is missing in action today. Is it because of injuries?
No, it's not because of injuries. On Friday, he engaged the goalkeeper's coach that he's not ready for the game. That was Friday night, around 10 p.m. He engaged him that he was not ready for the game. And then the goalkeeper's coach also engaged Joban, who is on national duty, to discuss it. So he got back to him to let him understand that he has to be ready for the game because Asare is gone on national duty. But then he insisted that he was not ready mentally and psychologically. He was not ready for the game. So yesterday in the morning, our 1 hour shake-up, the goalkeeper's coach went to him and then still engaged him, trying to convince him to be ready for the game, but he still insisted. So I was there when the goalkeeper's coach came to tell me that this is what Danlad is saying. So because it was time for training, I allowed training to end, after which I followed up as the head coach to go to Danlad at the residence one-on-one. I had a conversation with him, and then he kept to what he said, that he's mentally and psychologically, I'm quoting what he said, that he's not ready. And looking at the nature of the game, he can realize that the game is too dear to our heart as a technical team, as IMC, and for the past 3 weeks he's not been active, and the usual pre-match feelings that he experiences before a game, he's not experiencing those things. So he's mentally and psychologically not ready. So when he said that, I gave him time to reflect, and then upon the second thought, I was like, or the technical team were like, you can't force somebody to be in when mentally he's not ready. So we engaged the FA, and then the FA also engaged the head coach, which is Otoado, and made him aware that this is the situation. That would mean that we have only one goalkeeper, and we can't come to this game with one goalkeeper.
Okay.
So Oto also agreed, and then allowed Asare to come. So we had to fly Asare in to come and keep this game. So it was based on the statement that Danlad made, that he was not mentally and psychologically, I'm quoting what he said, ready for the game, and that his usual pre-game feelings, the feelings of confidence, determination that he normally experiences, he's not experiencing it. And again, because of the fact that he can see that the game is too dear to us, and because he has not been match fit for some time now, he thinks that we don't have to let him be in the pool. So basically that's why you cannot see, because he was the assistant goalkeeper against Hasselhoff. So if anything is to go by, he has to be the first goalkeeper, and then Moise will have to be the deputy. So that is the reason why Asare is here today. We can't come to this game with one goalkeeper. And if Asare is in, because he kept the game against Hasselhoff, automatically he has to be in pool, and then Moise will have to be on the bench.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Coach, for explaining this to us, and we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coach, thank you very much for giving us a little bit of your time. Now, it's a very crucial game for Accra Great Olympics. You are lying precariously on the Premier League table, and 3 points today will do you a whole world of good. What's the plan going into this afternoon's encounter against Kotoko?
Yeah, for sure. We came here with a lot of determination just to carry the 3 points at the end of the 90 minutes. I can tell you that we are coming here to play a draw. First thing is the ultimate, which is 3 points we are fighting for.
You are playing against your former club, and so people believe that you have a fair idea of the team. What kind of strategy are we looking at Olympics mapping out today to ensure that you keep tabs over Kotoko?
Like I said earlier on, I can't tell you how we are going to play right now, but when the game starts, you see it yourself.
How ready is the team, both physically, psychologically, and mentally?
Mentally, they are aware of what is going on and the huge task ahead of us. So whoever you see here is qualified to play today's match, and we are well prepared for that.
And we are looking at victory, 3 points at the end of 90 minutes?
That's for sure. That's what we are looking for, and that's what we are going to fight for.
We wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, so we have the explanation from Coach Prosper Natiogo why Frederick Asare had to be flown from Black Stars camp this morning to be with the Kotoko team and even be the #1 goalkeeper for this game. I mean, Felix, straightforward. This was not what I was thinking. I was thinking Danlad was injured, but he's saying that Danlad says he's not mentally and psychologically ready for the game.
I think that there's a problem. Mutala, to have two of your goalkeepers telling you that they are not mentally and physically ready for a very important Premier League game says a lot. If it is Danlad, I would be okay with it. But to have two goalkeepers telling you that then it means that there is something wrong. I'm sure maybe and the reason why I feel there's something wrong for coach to spend an entire 2 minutes explaining that particular situation while when there is a game to play tells you that it goes beyond what he's saying. I respect him for that. He can't come out in the open and say all that he wants to say. And I look at how Danlad's season had gone with Kotoko this year. I personally would be surprised to see him play for Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
But do you think the Danlad situation has been managed well?
Well, if you say managed well, you can't blame the club. I don't know the situation with the player. I can't come out and blame the coach or blame the club. But I respect the fact that Dr. Prosper Nate-Ogum has given the goalkeeper's trainer the decision to deal with goalkeeper's issues. And for him to liaise with him and tell him that my goalkeepers are telling me that they are not mentally and physically ready for a game against Great Olympics says a lot.
But a home game.
Yes, especially a home game. And for me, well, I'm a bit disappointed because I was thinking that, and I'm sure, I don't know the condition in Frederick Asari finds himself in, but to go and train with the national team, you have to fly back to Kumasi and play a league game. The Black Stars will leave for Bamako on Monday, right?
They will leave on Tuesday.
They will leave on Tuesday. They are supposed to
depart on Tuesday. I'm sure that immediately after this game, I catch a flight back to Accra or probably on Monday morning.
You know, they did the flight this morning, early flights from Accra to Kumasi, and the return flight is early morning on Monday.
Which for me, that would be a stress on the goalkeeper.
Well, he will not be imposed when the Black Stars play Mali.
You can't say that.
You can't say that.
He will not start the game. That is what I can say. He will not start the game.
If two of the goalkeepers of Kumasi Asante Kotoko can't tell the coach that they are physically and mentally not ready, you might not know what happened at Black Stars.
Atizigi is mentally ready.
I'm coming. It could be injuries. You know,
it could be down to injuries. Yeah.
Maybe we have three goalkeepers, right? We have Atizigi, we have Wallacott, right? And then Frederick Asari. What if one of them gets injured tomorrow?
Yeah.
It means that Frederick can be on the bench. What if in the game Atizigi gets injured?
Yeah.
Frederick might come in.
I understand all those dynamics.
So it's a bit complicated, but whatever it is, I hope the club and the player sort it out. But I'll be very disappointed if I'm the goalkeepers coach for two of my goalkeepers to tell me that they are mentally and physically not ready for a game that we need points to survive. That is huge.
Well, Nanedu, you've heard the explanation from the horse's own mouth. Danlad is not injured.
As for Nanedu, I know he knows.
No, Danlad is not injured. He's saying quick one. He's saying he's mentally and psychologically
not ready
for the game. It's just Danlad. It's just Danlad.
No, he spoke about the other goalkeeper as well.
You know, no, Moise Partey. He's saying Moise Partey cannot start the game because Frederick Asari is the number one, and he had to fly all the way from Accra to be in post because he kept the post for them during that
and the game against us, Danlad was the second goalkeeper, so automatically means when Frederick Asari is not there, automatically
have to be in post.
So once Danlad was not psychologically ready for the game, you need to call back your number one from the national team count. Sometimes the reason why
not just call the number one, he says he can't go into a game with one goalkeeper.
But that is a fact.
The danger. If he had to do with just one goalkeeper, most Partey could have been in. But it is dangerous to go into a game with just one goalkeeper.
Absolutely. That is why sometimes,
unless Justice Blade training so beche, now goalkeeper ni proud in abeshim.
That is why sometimes you know when you get a national team coach on distraction, some of these things he will not accept it.
Okay, so Nanedu, we would have to go now. We'll come back. I'm sure after the game we have a lot to discuss. But we have to cross over to the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex for the first 45 minutes of this game. It is Asante Kotoko who are hosting Great Olympics.
Hello and welcome to the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex in Accra, where we bring you a continuing coverage of the Ghana Premier League. This afternoon's game has Kumasi.
So, your rent now, better than me fee.
Oh. Hey, start time say. A new concert sika wuti ahwe TV no. Ne boy ye den eche wudanka.
Oh, prepaid NASA.
A new concert sika wuti ahwe TV no. Ne boy ye den eche electricity bills.
Almost done well to keep that in.
Dad.